All right, joining me now, it's your Guelph Police Services update. It's Constable Gatto. Good to see you.
You too.
How are you?
I'm not too bad. Not as good as you. You're back from Disney World.
Back from Disney.
That's nice.
Thank goodness. No, it was fun. It was hot and crazy, and you check it off your bucket list.
Well, it was cold and icy here.
Back. I know. Yeah. Our timing was so good, except we had to fly home in the storm.
Yeah.
Not so great. Okay, what's happening? You want to talk bikes?
I want to talk a little bit about bikes. The weather's nice now, so I'm starting to see a lot more bikes out and about. And I know there are a few things over the years that I've always kind of wondered about different things in regards to rules of the bikes as far as equipment and rules of the road. So I was trying to figure out in there what would be some things that maybe people weren't aware of.
Yeah.
So what I've first thing off, I want to make sure everyone understands that when you're riding a bicycle, you have to go by all the rules of the road as if you're in a car. So that means red lights, you're supposed to stop. You can't go through them. You have to, make sure it's safe to turn before you turn, all those things. Because if you have a driver's license, even if you are on a bike and if you go through a red light and an officer gives you a ticket, those demerit points actually go on your driver's license. Oh. So I don't think a lot of people that are riding their bikes understand that just because you're on a bike doesn't mean it can't still affect your driver's license, and it doesn't mean you can't get a ticket.
Okay, here, I have a question then.
Yep.
And maybe you're about to touch, are you about to touch about drinking and being on your bike?
A bicycle under the criminal code does not constitute.
Okay, so if you're pulled over for drinking, would you be pulled over for drinking ride your bike? I guess if you're unsafe on the road.
Yeah, if you're unsafe, but you wouldn't be charged with impaired operation of a motor vehicle because the criminal code doesn't deem a bicycle to be a motor vehicle.
Okay.
You probably end up being charged with public intoxication or something like that to get you off the road and safe.
Okay.
But we're just talking provincial offenses like the Highway Traffic Act.
Yeah.
Any of those that you have to adhere to when you're driving a car, you have to adhere to when you're driving or riding a bicycle. Oh. So, and then from there, I was also looking at a lot of equipment questions. I know a lot of people don't understand exactly what you need as far as equipment on your bike. And one of the ones that I saw that stood out to me was you have to have at least one rear brake on your bike. One functional brake on your bike has to be on the rear tire. So that doesn't mean, and so if your rear brake isn't working, but you think, oh, well, my front one's working, that's fine, that doesn't cut it. You have to have an operational working rear brake.
And is this something that you would be looking for?
An officer could, yeah. We could stop you and just have a look to see whether or not those things are operational. And if you don't have a working rear brake on your bike, you could get a $110 fine.
Come on.
Oh yeah. So they're not fooling around. This is safety here we're talking about. So
right, it's not just a money grab.
That's right.
This is like because I'm gasping because it is just my front brake that works on my mountain bike.
Well, and see what I've seen happen before on times where people will actually grab their front brake first, and if they have any kind of speed, you could literally fly right over your bike.
So that's why.
That's why. So it's a safety thing. Bells or horns. You have to have one on your bike.
Come on.
You do. You have to have it.
You have to.
You do. And a big part of the reason for that is if you're on the roadway and say you're going to pass another bike on the road, you got to let them know that you're there. If you're going to make it a turn, there's pedestrians there, you got to let them know that you're there. So, I mean, bikes come out of nowhere. I mean, they're hard to see. If you're driving a car, we've all done that before. You take a look, you look that way, you look back, and all of a sudden there's a bike there.
Yes.
And you just didn't see it. So, they're a very important tool to have on your bike and to use them on your bike. And once again, it's $110 if you don't have one.
My bike is so bad.
The other thing is lights and reflectors, and what you have to have and where you have to have them and when you have to have them. Obviously, during the bright of day, you're never going to get stopped to be given a ticket for something like that. But anytime, I try to get this right, from half hour before sunset and a half hour after sunrise, or any other time when there's insufficient light. So maybe in the fog, or if it's a rainy, overcast day. Yeah. And it becomes a judgment call for those times. But you have to, at that time, have the proper lighting and reflectors on your bike. And what they are is you have to have a lighted lamp at the front of your bike, and it has to be either a white light or an amber light, and you have to have that on the front. On the back end of your bike, you have to have either a red light or a red reflector, and then on the sides of on the forks of your tires, you have to have a reflector that'll reflect on either side of the tire.
Right.
And that way you can be seen from both sides if a car was coming or whatever.
So you have to have a light.
You have to have a physical light on the front of your bike. And now the fine for this isn't as much, it's $35. But still, these are equipment features that you have to have on your bike, and it's for safety reasons.
Okay.
Another question that we get is helmets. 18 and up, you don't have to wear a helmet. Under the age of 18, you have to wear a helmet. And actually, if you're under the age of 15, 15 and under, it actually becomes the duty of the parent or the guardian to make sure that that child is wearing a helmet. And the parent or guardian could actually get a ticket if their child's not wearing a helmet.
Right, because you obviously can't ticket. I mean, that makes sense.
We could ticket a younger person, but it's a whole different process.
You can.
We do that. You can. It end up having to be a court summons as opposed to just a regular ticket.
Oh, it seems extreme.
So yeah, so it's parents have to make sure that their kids are wearing them.
Okay. I know, I'm always surprised when I see parents arguing with their kids, saying put on your helmet, but they're not wearing one themselves. I think my throat is closing because I know I'm going to get arrested next time I'm on my bike. I'm starting to get nervous. Thank you so much for being here. Obviously, we want some road safety, so take note of what he said. Taking a short break. When we get back, fire safety tips. See you in a second.